All right. Shalom, fam. Hopefully, everybody's doing well. Thank you for being on with us. We appreciate you so much. We really do. Getting ready to get started. I'm thankful and grateful to everybody who's coming on with us. See you, Sister Sonia. How are you? Shalom, Minister Tamara. Since this is short and we're getting ready to get into our class, our season of taking classes again, it's going to be a short live. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it's in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect this message. Amen. Thank you for being on. We appreciate the King and Queen in each and every one of you. We give all honor to the Most High, Yahweh Elohim. We give all honor to Him for my wife, the Honorable Maya. We give all honor to each and every one of you who are listening right now, whether you're listening live on TikTok or you're going to watch later on via Zoom. We're thankful and grateful. So we're excited to get back in the swing of things. And thank you for joining us one more rising, one more day to learn, to grow as a community, etc. To give a heads up to you guys, I'm not sure what Saturday, but there's going to be a couple Shabbats where Shabbat Shalom podcast, we're going to have to try and figure out something with it because I probably will not be available due to some things that just have come up. I'm just not sure which Saturdays. It'll be like 2 of them. And then we'll go back to our regularly scheduled program. So Shabbat Shalom might have to be in the afternoon, or it might have to be later in the evening. I'm not sure. We might have to do it like Friday evening instead. So we'll have to figure that out. We'll let you guys know that in advance, just to give you a heads up. Tonight, we want to discuss take what you need. Amen. And as always, it's Pastor Kofi, a.k.a. The Shadow, being one pastor, servant of Christ, where we're always changing lives, one mind at a time, but being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. Once again, I want to talk about taking what you need. And in this season, in this year, this 2021 season of our lives, where we are, this is our year of pursuit, where we're pursuing the promises of the Most High. As we get ready to #finish strong, we're going to get ready to go into next year. And next year, I would like to start inviting you already to take what you need, right? A lot of people take a whole bunch of different things. You know, you go on vacation, you take a lot of extra, you got all these bags, you go on the plane, you're trying to figure out how to make sure that you can barely get your stuff on, or you got to, you can't carry everything in one bag. You've got to make sure that you've got everything. You got to have as many carry-ons as they're allowed. They have to do all these different things, etc. And a lot of people are not in a position where they think these things through, and a lot of times we don't take what we need. We take a lot of things that we want, sometimes even leave things that we need to take what we want. I want to invite you to have a mindset of taking what you need, right? That's a very strong, positive mindset to have. Start taking what you need. Shalom, Ardon, how you doing? Start taking what is necessary. Start taking what is vital. Start taking what you and your family need in this season. One of the things that I think stops people when they get into the new year, one thing I'm very aware of that stops people from doing New Year resolutions is because that they're trying to have all these resolutions that aren't necessarily what they need, right? So since it's not things that they necessarily need, they just kind of do whatever. And so your New Year's resolution is, well, I want to lose weight, but you don't need to lose weight, right? Like people who are told if you don't lose weight, you're gonna die. They all of a sudden find a way to lose weight, don't they? People who are told you might have to get your limbs amputated if you don't get your sugar under control. They find a way to get their sugar under control. Some of them do not. I had a grandfather that did not, unfortunately, and lost his arm and leg before he passed away. There's a lot of people who have taken, have been given certain things, but they take what they don't take what they need. Have you taken the mindset even that you need? It's kind of almost a minimalist mindset, if you will. Michelle says you don't need to lose weight, just eat right, like switching rice, cauliflower. Well, once again, that would help you, I guess, to lose weight, right? Or to be healthier, if however you want to look at it, right? What I'm saying is, though, people don't do what's necessary. If you're going to say that eating rice or eating cauliflower instead of the rice, or making sure that it's actual rice instead of a lot of fake rice, even plastic rice, or drinking out of glasses out of plastic, right? Those are things that people will do when they feel the need to do it. However, I'm talking about taking things that you need. Don't take extra. Take what's necessary. What's necessary for the next step, right? Like some people are taking things that are 17 steps ahead, right? I want you to get like the context of this, if you will. Some of us are taking like steps that are not even necessary yet, right? Um, are you willing to take the step that's necessary today? Kind of going off what we were talking about with. Sorry about that. Uh, Sorry about that to those who were on TikTok. My phone is letting me know that it doesn't have that much battery left. I'm gonna have to recharge and make sure we're ready for class. Yeah, but I want to talk about once again, like take what's necessary. You know, um, and so yes, huh? All right, hold on. Come on. All right, I need you to just listen, okay?
Okay.
All right. So we're talking about taking what you need is something that's important, that's vital, right? Um, and a lot of people have. It's just like a lot of people. A lot of us have a lot of unnecessary things that we. Like a lot of people. I'm sorry.
That cat looks just like Gracie.
It is her.
No, that's Gracie. What is that?
Oh, I don't know. Okay. Um, so I'm sorry. What was I saying? Oh, so yeah. So a lot of people are. Are you going or are you staying?
I'm saying.
Okay. So a lot of people take a lot of unnecessary things with them. A lot of people are taking a lot of unnecessary baggage. A lot of people are taking a lot of unforgiveness, for example. Um, and so as you're taking unforgiveness with you, you have to ask yourself, as you're taking unforgiveness with you, is it necessary? Is it vital for the next step? Right? Is it vital for the next? Is it vital for the next step for what you're going to take? Right? If you are dragging anything with you that's not necessary, now's the time to start praying about those things and crucifying the flesh. I didn't talk about that earlier, but when we were talking about purpose, I meant to actually add that on in the rising session. Paul makes it a point to say, like, I crucify the flesh daily. Every day I take time out to. I'm sorry. Oh, I probably do in the shirt pocket I was wearing yesterday. So I'm sorry. We're
Crucify the flesh, Paul.
yeah. Okay, thanks, babe. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So to crucify the flesh daily, right? All right. Go ahead and go back inside, sir. Go back inside, sir. So to crucify the flesh every day is to do something where literally every day I'm getting rid of something that's not necessary. Well, everybody's hair grows the way that it grows, So, I would just say grow your own hair. But once again, to get back on point, like to crucify the flesh daily is to literally get rid of things that are unnecessary. So every day I have to have a mindset of I'm looking for something that doesn't belong. And that kind of goes back to vision, purpose, and value. Now, because I've got quite a few questions this rising, and somebody who was texting me asking a lot more questions in a life coaching manner. We'll go over vision, purpose, and value again. It's something we had on the old YouTube channel quite a bit, so why not make sure we bring it back for you guys on the new YouTube channel. So we'll talk about that again tomorrow. But you have to have a mindset of if I know where I'm headed and I know what I need to do every day, that's purpose. Right, knowing where I'm headed, that's vision. Knowing what I need to do every day, that's purpose. Then here's the value. If there's no value to it for my journey, my destination, then I need to leave it somewhere. Hey, Shalom, Beverly, how you doing? So think about that. Hello to you, the person who said Guten Tag, or if that's what you were. aiming at. So thank you so much for, or you have to be thinking of the things that are going to take you to a place of gratitude. Even like, um, can you be in a place of gratitude if you're in a place where you're questioning every single thing? So what are you going to do? You see what I'm saying? Like, are you in a position where you can be able to take away the unnecessary? Some people have so much unnecessary that it's formed blind. Not a blinder per se, but I guess you could say a blindfold, where you're not able to see what you're supposed to do next because you've got so many things and you've got so many people pulling you, right? Some of you have friendships that in this season might be unnecessary. Um, you know, everybody seems to have a phone. Everybody can watch 2 3 hours of social media a day. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of people watch a lot of social media or a lot of television or a lot of Netflix or whatever. And yet a lot of people can't study. They don't have time to study. It might be a season where it's not necessary to watch television right now. You know, it might be a season where it's not necessary to have an out with the fellas night every week, or every night for some people. It might not be necessary to go out with the girls every week or every night. What are you bringing with you that's unnecessary getting towards the vision? Even in just finishing strong and the things that you're pursuing just for this year, we've only got from now until January 1st. What are the things that you have ready to ensure that you are going to be in position, right? What are the things that you're going to have to be ready to be in position, to be sure that you're going to do what the Most High wants you to do, right? What is it that, even the books, people are like, read a book, just read books, get information. What is the information any great? Like, is there any greatness in that for you? Or is it just something else that you can say you have another piece of information? If you're looking at becoming better at your job, what are the things that are going to help you be better at your job? Do you need to have that PMBOK? You need to have your project management together. Do you need to make sure that you got your IT stuff together? Get certified on some things, right? Is that what you're doing? What are the things that are necessary for your journey? Now, once again, that's a big, huge piece, and thank you for the love, Sharice. That's a big, huge piece and missing for the puzzle for a lot of people, because a lot of people aren't even in a position to where they think to themselves, maybe I should try to find out what my journey is, but not only what my journey is, what is the destination? And a lot of people are doing this thing where they're like, well, I'm just going to take the journey and it doesn't matter what the destination is, but you can have a journey and then end up in hell. And I'm not even talking about just, what some people just focus on fire and brimstone. I'm talking about you could have a hellish situation. A lot of people, the kingdom of heaven is supposed to be inside of us. You're supposed to be experiencing heaven and manifesting heaven, and yet a lot of people seem to be living in hell. Could it possibly be that you're bringing some things that are hellish that don't need to be in your life? Are there some principles that you're still living by? Are there some classifications that you still bring to put yourself into? There's a lot of people that have threesomes and don't even know it, and that sounds weird, but there's a lot of people who are carrying other people's perceptions of a relationship into their own bedroom and then arguing on behalf of other people's perceptions, right? Like, there are people who are literally arguing other people's perceptions. So you and your wife having an argument, and come to find out that you're arguing on behalf of what your parents said that you had to do growing up. And the reality is that your parents aren't raising your children, nor are they married to your wife, nor are they you. So you're arguing on behalf of something just because your children or your parents said it. Meanwhile, that's something that might not fit what you are doing and what your children need and what your wife needs from you. Right? So here we have multiple people in the bedroom. I'm trying to go to sleep. My wife is trying to go to sleep. We start having a conversation that turns to an argument, and come to find out, I'm not even arguing with her. I'm actually speaking on behalf of somebody who's I've allowed to be in a situation that they don't even deserve to be in, because the bedroom is supposed to be undefiled because only two people go in there. And only one being can see in there besides us two. And yet here we are arguing rather than, having time with each other and loving on each other. So many unnecessary things that we're bringing with us. Some people are bringing stuff from them from kindergarten. That teacher that messed your mind up, that person that that told you weren't going to be anything, that person that told you, hey, maybe you shouldn't try to be what it was that you wanted to be. It's a leaky roof. Okay, that could be something else. That's an example, right? What are some of the things that are leaking in our lives, though? What are some things that, like, they should be protection, but we haven't had the roof, so to speak, fixed, and so we've been living with it for years, right? But we're busy carrying a lot of different stuff. A lot of people talk about depression. A lot of times depression um, comes from really. This is gonna mess with some people, and I don't want to downplay depression, because depression is a real thing. Depression is a real issue. Depression is something that you have to not necessarily honor per se, but depression is not something you have to necessarily honor per se. But depression is something that you have to um, deal with, or people have to deal with from time to time. A lot of times, depression, as much as people aren't going to like what I'm about to say, is real. Depression, a lot of times, has to do with, selfishness. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times you focus on yourself too much, and you get depressed. And thank you for the likes, thank you for the gifts and everything. We thank you for helping us with the algorithm. Yeah, but that's real talk. A lot of people go through depression simply because in their mind they're focused on themselves. Woe is me, nothing can ever be better again. What am I going to do to get better? Why does nobody like me? Why does nobody want to help me? What is this? What is that? And you get to a place to where it's like you can't even um, function, because you're so focused on every single piece of you that you don't even have time to think outside of yourself, right? So it's hard to love somebody else. Matter of fact, it's hard to love yourself if the only thing you can do is say, I'd rather selfishly not love myself and only think about the things that will deter me, or the things that don't make me great, or the things that I don't like about me, or this and that. Like, focus on the things that are great. Focus on the things that are there. Focus on loving somebody else, and see if loving somebody else doesn't help you to receive love back. Go outside of yourself to get some love back. It's my pleasure, Monica. These are things that are necessary and vital, that we should go through, and that we should talk about, that we should talk through as kings and queens. Um, you know, but we focus on only being in a bad situation. We focus only on being, in a bad place. We focus only on negativity. Even people who say negativity during these things we put on, right? I could stop and focus on them, but if these people if all they do is try to depress or whatever, it would be selfish of me, to literally say I'm going to focus on every single person who can't actually treat me like a human being, and stop the live to deal with every single person. Right, so when we have the hundreds of people, sometimes thousands of people in the live on the rising, hey, shalom, Bell Canada, and why would I stop what I'm doing? Unless I'm led to, why would I stop and just give all these people the platform? And now we can't even get into what the Most High has for the topic of discussion. The topic of discussion wasn't, hey, let's get back at everybody who makes fun of us. The topic of discussion is whatever thus saith Adon. And but you can only get to that level if you start removing things from yourself. Only take what's necessary. As we get ready to finish strong in this year of pursuit, you in order to get to a like think about it this way: as you get closer to the mountaintop, right? There's less mountain to climb. There's less room for error. There's much further to fall, and you've only got small. As you get closer to the peak, is it somewhat a triangle, if you will, tends to form, right? Or a triangular type shape, or a pyramid type shape, or whatever you want to look at it as, a point, right? When you get to the top of the mountain, the peak, as you get there, you must recognize that basically you're getting to a place where there's going to be less room for error. You've got to allow less things to be up there. You got to be carrying less. You're going to have less air to breathe. You can't waste breath anymore, right? You can't allow distractions. You can't miss the mark the way that you did. See, missing the mark when you were only 10 feet up, it'll hurt, but it's okay, right? 20 feet up, it'll hurt. You might break something, but you can recover. 500 feet up, 5,000 feet up, 10,000 feet up, it's a different monster. And you have to have less things you're carrying, right? Mountain climbers might have a lot of equipment. They might have what you consider to be a lot of equipment, but it's really not that much. They are very minimal in what they're carrying, and they have to learn how to deal with less the higher they get. If you're going to climb to place like the highest mountains in the world, you have to be able to deal with less heat. You know, if you're going to go, oh thanks, babe, appreciate the love. My wife is on blooming first. You got to be ready for dealing with to have less. And the problem is a lot of us want to go to the mountain peak and the mountaintop, and you think that you're supposed to get more. You're supposed to think you're supposed to buy more things. You're supposed to get more clothes. You're supposed to get more shoes. The higher you get to the mountain peak, actually the less is required. The less is required. I'm not saying, now watch this, the less is required, or watch this. Let me say it like this. It's required that you focus on less. Right? People think that Jeff Bezos is focused on a whole bunch of different things. He hires people to focus on different things. His focus is actually one thing that he's giving. However, that one thing manifests in many different ways and allows him to control an environment that's much greater. But he's very great at one thing, which is basically, how can I take something that you want and provide it to you at a rate that nobody else can give it to you at? Right? And if I can do that, then I can buy another company and buy another company and buy another company, and before you know it, basically everything that you get it through me. Not just because it's Amazon. You get it through Amazon because Amazon to you represents, I don't have to go to the mom and pop shop because mom and pop shop is more expensive. Now maybe you should go to that. That's a different argument. That's a different conversation, right? That we don't have time to go into, and I'm not really prepared at this moment to go into. But however, he's very focused on what his goal is. Now, his goal is manifest in many different ways, but his vision is still very strong, very stable, very stationary, right? He's not tossed to and fro by the vicissitudes of life, which is what the devil does. The devil goes to and fro, seeking whom he may devour, right? He's not tossed to and fro when a wave comes up or this and that or whatever. His goal is to be steady. This is what we do. This is the brand. This is what I give out. And everything I do and everybody I work for and all my warehouses and all my trucks and everything like that, they will have this particular type of thing. Right? You said, oh, don't waste your energy on dreadful things. Maybe change your life. Okay. I don't think that we disagree that much, but I guess if that's I guess that's a way of canceling out what I'm saying, because to not waste your energy on dreadful things would be, if something dreadful happens, to not allow it to be something that you think of as it's defeating you, but to figure out, to acknowledge what it is, and to keep on pushing past it, to learn from it, and even before it happens, to already have a plan in your life to where when negative things happen, that you're prepared for them, rather than just going to something negative without any reasoning. A lot of people have no plan for anything negative to happen. They think that only positive will happen, and that's not the case. So I don't think that we disagree on that at all, as far as that. So the thing we're talking about is leaving some things behind. And so, yeah, dwelling on negative things will come and negative things will go. Just like positive things will come and positive things will go. Some of us are only thinking about ourselves as the last thing we could perceive to be great. There's a lot of people, a lot of grown men usually, like a lot of older men usually will be able to tell you, yeah, back in 1980 something, back in 2000, back in 76, I was doing this, I was driving this, and they keep telling the same story. It's because that their whole life is still stuck in one place. They haven't even thought of. So now it's become a negative because they're trying to bring something with them that was great in 76, but you talking about 2021. You talking what, 86, 96, 2006, 2016, you talking 45 years later, 2021. Right? Like, it's great that you had that, and I'm amazed and I'm proud of you for having that. And maybe it did something, but did you allow that to launch you into the next place? And a lot of people are okay with talking about what they deem as success, However, they won't go into something that now says, hey, your past success doesn't even matter here anymore. And how are you going to get to the next level if you're only stuck in your past success? How do you go to the second step if you're so comfortable in step number one that you don't want to leave it? How do you go into the river if you're just satisfied with being the biggest fish in the small pond? You said the way we were raised is not the way we should raise our children. But your children should be raised according to your children. You know, even that. Your children should be raised according to your children. I needed some things that some other children didn't need as far as discipline. And I'm glad I got them because it helps me to have light bulb moments and go back to certain things, and it causes me to respect my father still to this day. Because I was wild and was wild, and even though wasn't those people, I hung out with some people. So you raise your child according to what your child needs, not according to what your child wants, because your child doesn't even know what they need or want yet. You look at your child. You're supposed to be the one that's responsible for what you birthed. It's your fruit. When the tree gives birth to a fruit, and the fruit therefore gives birth to seed, the fruit does nothing more than what the DNA that was given to it by the tree that preceded it. That's why the tree that came before it and the tree that comes after it are going to act the same way. Once again, okay, it depends on the child. It depends on the child. I just said that, right? So we agree on that. What I'm saying is that the person that's providing the fruit, the tree provides the fruit, the tree provides the DNA, the tree gives direction on what the fruit and the tree will do, right? The next generation of tree will do. So you got to have a compass, and to just be like, hey, your child can be their own compass. No, baby boy and baby girl, they got to be trained to be able to have a compass, to learn to use a compass, rather. You still estranged from some family members, holding on to some things from long ago. A lot of people are, you know. So there's so many different things, but once again, the main thing that I want to talk about, keeping the main thing, is this year. The goal is for the rest of this year and pursuing the promise. Hashtag finishing strong. I want you to think about that often. What am I holding on to that can be let go? Because next year is going to be when we're going to focus on what's only necessary. Right? You can't get as high as you want if you focus on everything else except what's necessary. Yeah, those babies. My wife says those babies are born to you. You're the most qualified to raise them. Yeah, and it's like a mother's milk. The mother who gives birth to the child, her milk is better than any formula, any breast milk from any other woman or any other person or any other type of thing, any fake substance they would give you, because that's where the baby came from. The baby receives oxytocin when it's in its father's arms. You know why? Because the baby had oxytocin when it recognized the father's voice, and the mother had oxytocin when it recognized that the baby reacted to the father, and all these different things, right? The family came up together, and the family, the family is responsible for each other. And it's very weird that people don't want to establish their own culture in their own children's lives, and just say, hey, let children do whatever they want to do. Now, I don't think that's what the person was necessarily saying, but I'm just saying that's something that we could possibly leave and stop saying that, hey, we're going to just do whatever somebody else says. Your child should be studied by you, right, to see who they are, because your child, where they're crying, is not clued into who they are yet. Right, your child, while they're nursing and sucking, they don't know who they are yet. Your child, when they start seeing something on television, they just mimic stuff. Babies mimic anything, right? So it doesn't mean that just because they mimic anything, that's what they're supposed to do. Think about what your child is. Meditate on who your child is, and go to the one that created your child. You probably get great results from that. Right. That being said, Hebrew characters class is going to start on. Hebrew characters class is going to start on Saturday, October 16th, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time. Tonight will be our start of our sessions, though, all the classes. And so tonight's going to start marriage. And so I'm going to get ready to get off for that. Remember, Mondays is marriage, Tuesdays is monarchy, Wednesdays is sovereignty, Thursdays is natural medicine 1, Fridays is fibroid cysts, Saturdays is Hebrew characters. We look forward to seeing all of you. I'm going to take my leave at this point in time. Our prayer is that you not only be hearers of this word, but doers as well. We're thankful and grateful to each and every one of you who's going to be on. That being said, I'm going to take my leave, and prayerfully you guys have a great night. Unless I'm going to get ready to see you for our marriage class starting at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Zoom. If you want more information on it, just DM me, or if you have the number, try to get in touch with us. But we'll be on. We're on in the rising class. We don't get to talk as much as we used to. So many different people now from all over the world coming on to listen in on our conversations and our teachings, and the teachings really of our culture and our community and the kingdom and the Most High. So we're thankful and grateful. I'm thankful once again to the Most High for my wife, the Honorable Maya. You can follow her on TikTok, YouTube, and her website by simply checking out Bloom and Flourish. Not A-N-D, but the letter N. Bloom and Flourish. You can follow her on TikTok, YouTube, and her website, which is bloomandflourish.com. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. But once again, you can try and DM us, and we'll see what we can do to be able to have a quick conversation. It's actually going to start 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern in New York time, so that's about 25 to 30 minutes from now. We're going to get ready for that. So thank you all for being on, and I look forward to seeing you in the AM for those that will get up with us in the rising. As always, this is Pastor Kofi, a.k.a. the Shadow Band One, Pastor Servant of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. Until I have the great privilege, opportunity, and responsibility to be in front of you all again, please remember as always that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, we shall be the reason this world changes for the better. Bare minimum will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shalom, fam.